This is a video that looks at the Man from Snowy River questions. So this week you are working through these questions. They are due next week. What you need to do is think about everything that you need to know about the poem to answer these questions. These questions are your chance to show that you can go back to a piece of writing and find the information. We're really encouraging you to make sure that you have quotes to support your answers. The first two answers were modelled for you in class. So let's have a look at the rest of the questions. That's questions 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Do not rush these questions. Take your time. Check that your grammar and your punctuation is correct. That is, that you've used apostrophes correctly, that you've got capital letters, that you've got full stops. When I read your work, these are the things I'm going to be looking for, as well as the information from the poem. So question 3 asks, how does Patterson describe the countryside? You should really stop this video now and write your answer. But what you need to be looking for is almost the romance of the countryside, the idea that Patterson looks at the countryside very different to what Lawson did. If you remember Lawson, he talked about the dryness and the stunted trees. Have a look at what Patterson says in his poem and compare it. Once you've finished your question or your answer, you should go on to question 4 and start the video again. So what qualities do the Bushmen have? What evidence is provided of these qualities in the poem? You should include quotes in your answer to support your response. So what qualities? This word here means what values? What is it that these people hold important? What is it that they show? Do they show mateship? Do they show hard work? Do they show a ruggedness? Do they show a desire to do the right thing? Do they show a quality of distrust? Do they trust each other? I don't know. You need to decide that. Different Bushmen in the poem might show different qualities. So your answer here could be quite long as you look at Clancy compared to the old man. Are they different? Why? Again, once you've finished this question, or you should stop the video now, finish your answer, and then go on to question 5. How does Patterson instill, which means create, a sense of speed and urgency to his poem? Again, it will help you to include quotes or refer to specific passages of the poem as part of your response. Now, this is the concept that when you read this poem, there's parts of it where you almost want to speed up the way you read it. And the question is here is, how does Patterson do that? What words does he use? What phrases does he use? What is the urgency in the voices of the characters? See, if this is a challenging question because you have to infer the information. That is, that Patterson does not tell us outright. You need to have a look at the language and see what you can take from it. See how you go with this question, and we'll talk about it next week. Question 6. It's clear that Patterson admires the Bushmen. How do we know this? So again, this is an inferred question, but Patterson really does hold these men up as an ideal, an archetype, if you like. An archetype means an ideal. This is the type of person we want to be, that he sees as being Australian. What are the sorts of things that Patterson says that makes it clear that this is what he thinks? Question 7. What do you think makes this poem particularly Australian? The key word here is you. I'm telling you, or we're saying, that this poem is Australian, that you find poems like this about Australia. But what is it that you think makes it Australian? Is it the Bushmen? Is it the description of the countryside? Is it how Patterson holds these men up as being a type that we should admire? I don't know. This is up to you. This is your answer. Just make sure you have evidence. One of the last lines, I'm not saying it's the last line, but at the bottom of the poem we have this line. The man from Snowy River is a household word today. This remains true. Why do you think this poem is so important to Australians? Again, this is you think. Give us a reason. What do you think makes this poem the poem that's been made into a film, that's being talked about all over the world? What is it about this poem that you think makes it Australian? Then, if you finish all this, I really want you to try this extension exercise. Have a look at this question and try and write over 100 words from it. Compare the landscape in The Drover's Wife and The Man from the Snowy River. Which author do you think, again, this is the key, presents a more authentic meaning real, picture of Australia? Explain your response, and you should attempt to write over 100 words. So this is basically saying, why do you think The Drover's Wife or The Man from the Snowy River is the more real Australia, if you like? I would really, really like all of you to have a go at this question. Again, it is challenging, but I've said all year, that's what we need to do. Have a think about it and really think about the Australia that you know. And of course, the Australia you know is going to depend on where you live and your experiences. Which one do you think is more right? You could argue that they're both right. That it's possible that they present two different Australias, but both of them are right. Try and come up with an answer and then explain your answer. Even better if you can include quotes. Remember, both of these texts are on Moodle.